No big tralala, no big tum-tum. I'm just back. Maybe we will do a video, just a quick talking video on where I have been in the last 2 years and why all the radio silence suddenly happening on the channel. But for now, I'm just back with this steel reinforced neck guitar that once again I found in the trash. You guys maybe remember early days of this channel. I made a video on a GDR guitar that was found in the trash, and now I found another guitar in the trash, so of course gotta come back, gotta make another video. I was feeling like making videos again anyways. Kind of was a build up over the last couple of weeks. Check out the position of this strap button right there on the neck. Very weird, annoying position. It needs to go over there, but of course now you can hold the guitar like this. One hand. It's pretty cool. I call them Strat style single coils, adjustable pole pieces, on-off switches. Check out the beautiful lacquer over there. Nice sunken in waviness. It looks proper old. This guitar probably made in the 1960s. Somewhere in Japan, probably at the Kawai factory. Not too sure about that. If you guys know anything, please let me know. There's nothing written on the headstock. Single string tree, adjustable neck, and it's a Gibson scale, 628 millimeters. And these strings are tens and they are very wobbly. Like there's no tension at all. And that might be related to, sorry for the light, the bridge, the brake angle at the bridge. You can see that way. Sorry for the lighting situation, we just gotta deal with the window up there. And I'm sitting opposite of the camera, kinda everything is upside down and inverted, I don't know. There's not much brake angle over here. You can just move the strings around. So we need to raise that bridge, which would also get rid of those sharp screw ends that are very annoying and a problem with 1960s Japanese guitars. I was thinking of getting a real replacement bridge. What are we gonna do with that? Because over here, oh sorry for that, because over here we kind of got some adjustment room left, but it should be adjusted downwards not upwards, so the brake angle problem would only increase. So the solution is we're gonna shim the neck. We're gonna make sure the neck tilts back a bit, and we're gonna raise it a bit. We're gonna shim the entire pocket. Look how thin the wood is under here. Very thin. We're gonna shim it over there, so hopefully we can get the bridge up high enough where we don't feel these sharp screws anymore. Not sure if I already talked about the trem bar over here. It's just a regular strut bar with, you know, I don't know the English word for these things. They are called Mutter in German. Muttern. It works. Gonna be interesting to see how the trem works, so I'm gonna pop it off. And also we still got the ashtray cover, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we're gonna oil the fretboard. First, let me cut those strings. Put on some new strings. We're gonna put on some D'Addario nickel wound EXL 115, 11 to 39. Probably gonna work well with Gibson scale, kind of Fender Mustang-y guitar. And yeah, let's cut the strings first. Keep in mind this thing was in the trash. One big scratch over there. The back of the neck looking fine. We got some wear, you know, ring wear and whatever scratches from people putting the guitar somewhere and letting it rest against the neck. Open back tuners, by the way. They work fine. I put some oil on them already. Nothing to complain. The nut is cut very well. It works. Its tuning stability is there. You can actually really use the trem. Alright, trying to find some information as to the origin of that guitar. And I found quite some interesting guitars. This one right here, it seems to have a very similar pickup. Check out the VNT marked knobs and the pickups. They check the vibe. But it's a Hora Regin, whatever, Romanian guitar. So, I don't know, maybe they bought these pickups somewhere in Japan or in Korea. I also found this Taisco, alleged Taisco. It's a Vision branded guitar. I'm not sure if it's made by Taisco, could be made by Sakai or Kawai. We don't know, but if we click through the picks, we also see the VNT shaped knobs and the two switches to engage the pickup. Similar tram with the, you know, ashtray cover and no big old spring underneath there, but this kind of leather. It's Vision branded. We got the steel reinforced neck thing and the one string tree. Also the wood on the neck looks fairly similar. Open back tuners, made in Japan. Weird position of the strap button. Got different pickups though. These look much cooler than the ones I have. I found another Hora Regin Romanian guitar, and it's that one. Doesn't have the tram, but it has the pickups, it has the knobs, and it has the two switches. Vastly different headstock though. So chances are that that company Hora was actually just importing those loaded pickups, pickguards from Japan. Yeah, that's most of the infos I could find. I'm pretty certain that it's not a Taisco. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen any Taiscos with trams like this though. So my guess is Sakai made, just because it could also be Cavalli made, but if it's 50-50, I go with Sakai. They almost got the Fender Mustang copy down, but they didn't do it offset, and it's got this weird roundedness to the bottom. First, let's cut the strings without loosening them. Oh. Those are some cheap strings, probably Harley Benton, for real. Like, they have these sharp corners, and I'm not sure if you guys can see. I was picking up that guitar earlier, and here, right there, can you see? I was picking up the guitar like this, and yeah, my finger got caught on the high E string and it actually cut my finger. So we're not gonna use them at all. They suck. Look at them. Super old looking. Very bad quality. Maybe they were good quality back in the 90s. I don't know. We are in that kind of bad situation where somebody decided to make a knot at the tuning peg into the string so that 30 years later I cannot get it off properly without using excessive violent force. Come on. Do not knot your strings. It's pointless, it's just an annoyance for later. That was some serious annoyance. If anybody out there knows what kind of wood they might have used for the neck, let me know. Doesn't look like maple. Honestly, doesn't really look like mahogany. Looks like some wood that I don't know. Is it Zen ash? Is it some Japanese magic wood? Who knows? Let me know in the comments if you know. So I'm not sure if you can see on cam, but we got some problems over there. There's even some wood coming off. Oh, I dropped it. Yeah. Little chip of wood that came off right there. Something happened. Something happened over here. I don't think it hurt the knot though. Other than that, fretboard is dry but alright. The frets are looking kind of good. We got a chip down here, right there at the last fret. It's not gonna hurt. I checked the frets with the fret rocker. They are kind of even. Like the higher frets are all even. If we look at first, second, and third fret, fourth fret, and fifth fret, it's getting better. But the first four frets have some serious play wear. I mean, not serious, but they do have play where you can tell this guitar is old and it has been played for the last, I don't know, half century or so. But nobody ever played any solos up here. They feel like new frets. And not sure what we're gonna do about it. First we're gonna do nothing, and maybe we're gonna do a fret level. What we're gonna do now is put some lemon oil there and get this thing to look nice again. Do you think it's Brazilian? I highly doubt it, but could be, right? Let's see how it transforms. This is gonna be beautiful. Also the fretboard, other than being kind of shot in some spots, like there, here, we can now see right there something happened. It's not very gunky or whatever, it's kind of clean. We wanted to shim the neck, so let's take off the neck and put some shims underneath. And while it's taken off, we're gonna also, just for good measure, take off the pickguard and have a look under there. Maybe we'll find something unusual. Maybe we can find some dates on the pots and we'll be able to date this guitar. That would be kind of cool. Quick first look. There is absolutely nothing stamped on the neck. We can kind of see the Oh, I hope you guys can see too the end of the truss rod. You can see right there, there's my previous shim, because I already shimmed this guitar. Because the original string height situation was pretty bad, but we need to shim it much further. Let's take off the trem and have a look how this looks. I wonder if I can adjust these screws and kind of adjust the trem tension. What weird kind of offset trem abomination will we have? Damn it, these screws are long. Nice routing. It doesn't really matter. That's our trem. 6 screws holding it down. Strings go in from the back. The thing closes down, and what do we have underneath? Alright, we have 2 springs, and we can indeed adjust the tension of both springs using that part. It's cool. See that? I'm so sorry for the lighting situation. I need to invest in some soft boxes, and the sun is going down, so we're in a hurry. So we have a 2-spring trem system. I will put it right back in. It's of no use of taking this out. We don't have a ground in there though. I wonder if this guitar has a ground at all. Sometimes guitars from that era do not have grounds. There is a ground wire just popped off. There's a hole for the ground. Okay, gotta figure out the ground in a bit. Let's turn it around. What do we see? We don't see much. We have the tiniest of pots right there. 500K. Not much to see though. 500K switches, probably ceramic pickups, and 2 switches. Simple, but it's working. Definitely able to see that it's a plywood body. Most of these Japanese guitars from that era are actually plywood. And you know what? We gotta get the trem back off because we need to put the ground wire in there. Haha! Very annoying! And guys, by the way, I read on Reddit, I logged into my old account recently. And man, I got quite some messages from many of you. So thank you guys. Thank you. Thanks for all the bananas I received, even though I didn't log in. Shout out to Link Hamilton. I feel kinda, I don't know the word. I feel bad for not logging in, and that's not very nice of me. I'm so sorry, guys. It wasn't very nice. Alright. Now, let's put the ground into the thing. Let's put it here. That's kind of probably where it lived. Put it right there. We cannot measure the resistance of these pickups right now because my multimeter died because I was using it wrong, to be honest. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. Alright, nice and shiny. You really gotta be careful when using these files not to press them down too much because they kind of get very coarse on the edges, and if you press the edge in the fretboard, you're gonna end up with some scratches, but you can always polish them out using the polishing sites. A little crack right there. See that? Fretboard has been so dry, probably never saw oil in its entire life. It cracked down there, but that's alright. The neck actually feels pretty decent, kind of like a Gibson style C-shape. A bit more chunky than your average Fender neck, but just a bit. Alright, let's do the shipping before the sun goes down. So these are the old shims. Put them back. And I got these stripes of maple veneer. So we're just gonna fill this entire pocket up with veneer. Yeah, much better idea. Let's just cut it like this. Alright. I'm not a luthier. All the professionals will probably cringe at me, but that'll do. As crude as it looks, this shimmery is probably gonna work. 2 layers of very thin maple veneer on top of each other and 1 shim to adjust the neck angle in front. Let's bolt on the neck and get this thing going. Curious how nice it sounds with those thicker strings. Neck is back on, nice and tight. You can see it's the veneer still sticking out, but that's a problem for another time. Curious if the intonation will be alright. We got the tiniest room for adjustment, but we could of course unscrew the thing down there. 2 screws, I don't know why I want to screw down. Also, I will leave the strap button there for now, because curious how to see how it feels. Maybe it's good, but probably not. Probably it's gonna go there. There you go. First one to redeem gets this code. EXL 115. Join the player circle. I was a heavy D'Addario user. All I was using was D'Addario, and I was collecting my old strings in this box because I wanted to send it to them, you know, for recycling. But that doesn't work in Europe. You do not send them strings if you're in Europe. Let's start. Silver first. This is probably the most exciting part of the entire video. Controversial restringing technique. I don't know why people don't do this, and I'm going to show you because somebody was using the most crazy knot making restringing technique on this guitar. So to encounter that, easy way to restring: take your string right here, the A string, put it through the nut, put it on the peg, put it around. I take 2 rounds usually for wound strings and 3 rounds for unwound strings. Hold it down, pull it through, tighten it up. Next. Like, am I missing something? Am I in danger now that I've strung up my guitar like that? Let me know in the comments, for real. Why is nobody stringing up like that? It's an unwound string, so we just go 3 rounds. Bam. I use my thumbnail to hold it down, pull it through. Ah, come on. Pull it through. Next. Strings are on. And honestly, the action is kind of good right now, but we want it lower so we can raise it there. So I gotta increase the angle, gotta take the neck off again, and yeah, probably shim the entire thing a bit more. I'm gonna do that off cam because, you know, it's the same old trick. Nice looking fretboard though, very nice. What a difference. It's not the easiest guitar to play, especially not with 11s on there. Might need to change that to 10s. We're gonna call this one a jazz guitar. It's no beginner's guitar, it's a jazz guitar. So, what is my final verdict after playing this guitar for a bit and having it restrung, and the frets are nice and polished, the fretboard is polished, the electronics are working? Well, it kind of sucks, I'll be honest. It's tough to play actually. I don't know, the neck feels more ergonomic than other necks of that period and origin. But still, I don't know, up here, where the frets are like new, it's pretty hard to play actually, even with the strap button moved to the horn. Up there, the frets are played out, so that leads us to some buzzing right here on the F note and on the B flat especially. But the first fret basically is too low, and especially the B flat is fretting out right now. I cannot introduce more underbow to the neck though, because the truss rod is completely loose. When I switched from 10s to 11s, the neck didn't care. So yeah, you can see I still haven't cut off the excess strings. Might not gonna do this because I feel like these strings can go on some other guitar. Honestly feel like I wasted the money on the strings. Technically it sounds okay, pickups are fine, it has a certain twang vibe, it has a certain 1960s vibe. It looks fun, yeah, and it's super light, but it sucks. I think it took them to the mid-70s to make guitars that do not suck. And we enter the whole lawsuit era. I think the pickup ruins the vibe, makes it look cheap if they were to introduce a gorgeous shell pickup. It would look much more classy. But it still wouldn't play that well, so yeah, this is a guitar that goes over there on the stand, way to the back, and it probably won't be played much. But who knows, maybe if I do some recordings and I want some rhythm tracks with a different sound, I'll put it on there. It sounded pretty nice clean, but again, it doesn't play as good as it should. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. We are warming up again, channel is coming back to life, I am coming back to life, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you had some beautiful years since I last came online. Peace out.